before Kobe would widely be regarded as one of the greatest basketball players of all time. Looking back on it now, it feels like Kobe Bryant was always destined for greatness. Now, from the beginning, while still in high school, he was recognized as one of the top ball prospects in all of the US. Then when he was drafted in 1996 by the Charlotte Hornets, well, he was immediately traded to the Lakers, the flagship franchise of the NBA at the time. Now, once there, he established himself as a legend in an arena that was already chock full of them. We're talking 5 chips, 3 with Shaq and 2 with Gasol, and an all-time leading scorer in Lakers franchise history in an 81-point game against the, well, I hate to say it, but the Toronto Raptors. Still a modern-day record for scoring in a single game. By the way, hell, even a torn Achilles at the age of 34, well, it couldn't stop Kobe from returning to the game he loved and capping off his career with a 60-point night that will go down in history as one of the greatest final games in any athlete's career. We're talking 50 field goal attempts to be damned. Because you see, the secret to Kobe's success was not that he was the most talented guy with the biggest blessings, but that he was always the hardest working person on the floor. Now, Kobe, he wanted to outwork you. That's what he lived his life to do, to succeed at whatever he set his mind to. Basketball, even short films and books, the man, he could do it all. But then last month happened. On January 26, 2020, Kobe Bryant, his daughter Gianna, and 7 others all died in a tragic helicopter crash in Calabasas, California. This left the entire world in shock, because that's the kind of impact that Kobe Bryant made all over the world. From the US to China, from Greenland to Australia, well, everyone mourned the passing of a sports icon. Now here at Before They Were Famous, we want to do the exact same thing, honor a man who gave so much of himself every time he stepped between the lines of the hardwood. Now this is our Kobe Bryant video titled Gone But Not Forgotten. Now I apologize on the delay getting this video produced, but I was on a short break myself. All right, let's get into this video, and please feel free to leave your condolences down below. Kobe Bean Bryant was born on August 23, 1978 in the city of brotherly love, Philadelphia, the youngest of 3 children and the only son of former NBA player Joe Bryant and Pamela Cox Bryant. Now his parents, they named him after the famous beef of Kobe, Japan, and his middle name was derived from his father's nickname, Jelly Bean. As the son of a baller, it didn't take long for Kobe to pick it up himself. Now he started playing the game at the age of 3 and from the very beginning with giants of the sport like Magic Johnson and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar playing for them, while the Lakers, they had always been his favorite team. When young Kobe turned 6, well, his father Joey retired from the NBA and moved his family to Rieti, Italy. This was to continue his professional career. Now once there, they jumped around the Italian league, moving all over the country. And while there, well, a young Kobe, he even learned to speak fluent Italian. Now while living in an area known as Reggio Emilia, well, Kobe, he experienced some of his fondest memories of his childhood, and it was there that he first began to play and take basketball seriously. Now Bryant's grandfather, he would mail him videos of the NBA, and Kobe, he would study them front to back. Then during the summer, he would return to the States and play in summer leagues, showing off what he had picked up along the way. Plus a touch of the Italian accent, it was probably a big hit with the ladies. I'm just saying. Now when he was 13, Kobe and his family, they moved back to Philadelphia. While attending Lower Merion High School, he first began to earn national attention with his spectacular high school career. Now he was the first freshman in decades of school history to start for their varsity team. And while his first season ended with a 420 record, well, his subsequent school record over the next 3 years was 77-13. Now with success like that, it's not much of a surprise that recruiters across the country, from Duke to Michigan to Villanova, they all had him at the top of their recruitment lists. But college was not to be for Kobe Bean Bryant. Now after watching Kevin Garnett get taken number 1 overall straight out of high school in the 1995 draft, well, Kobe, he began to plan his future as a pro accordingly. Now in 1996, Kobe, he took R&B singer Brandy to his senior prom, and only a short couple of months later, well, he made history by becoming the 6th player in NBA history to go directly into the league right out of high school. Now during the draft process, Bryant, he had worked out in Los Angeles, scrimmaging against former Laker players like Larry Drew and Michael Cooper. Now while then Laker general manager Jerry West, he watched on. And according to Jerry, well, he couldn't in good faith let the workout go on for too long, because Kobe, he was embarrassing these professionals. Now, the Lakers were already looking to move on from their starting center, Vlad Divac, for a draft pick to clear up salary cap so they could sign the big fish of the free agent market. And I do mean big. We're talking about Shaquille O'Neal. So Jerry West, he found a trade partner in the Charlotte Hornets who agreed to trade their number 13 pick for Divac. Now apparently, they never even considered drafting Kobe for themselves. And looking back at their history as a franchise, both ancient and current, well, I can believe it. I mean, the Hornets, they've never won anything. Now needless to say, Kobe, he would not have fit in there at all. I mean, minutes before the pick was due, well, the Lakers, they told the Hornets who to pick, and they did as asked. Now, Bryant, he was still only 17 years old, and he'd have to get his parents to co-sign his contract because, well, he was still just a kid. He was also a man making some bucks, signing a 3-year deal worth $3.5 million. Now, as a rookie in the 1996-97 season, well, Kobe, he mostly came off the bench behind their more established guards. Now, initially, he played in limited minutes as he became more accustomed to the league, but that playing time had steadily began to rise higher and higher. Now, that first year, he also won the 1997 Slam Dunk Contest. By the end of his rookie campaign, he had already made an imprint on the league and he'd been named to the NBA All-Rookie Second Team. Then came his first taste of the playoffs. Now, the Lakers, they advanced to the Western Conference semifinals against the Utah Jazz. By Game 5, a series of events ensured that Kobe, he was pressed into a leading role. Now, Byron Scott, he missed the game with a sprained wrist. Robert Horry, he was ejected for fighting with Jeff Hornick. And Shaq, well, he fouled with 1 minute and 46 seconds remaining in the fourth. So Kobe, he stepped up and he shot 4 air balls to end the game. Now the Jazz, they won 98-93 in overtime and they took this series 4-1. Now, despite the loss, well, his teammates, they had his back with Shaq saying Bryant was the only guy who had the guts at the time to take shots like that. By his second season, Kobe, he was showing off his ever-deepening bag of tricks. Now that year, he was the runner-up for the NBA Sixth Man of the Year, and through fan voting became the youngest All-Star starter in league history. But it was his third year in the league that officially marked his emergence as a premier player. The old guards like Jones and Van Exel, they were traded to make room for his growth, and Kobe, he started every game for a lockout-shortened 50-game season. Now, despite already being compared favorably to other greats like Michael Jordan and Magic Johnson, well, Kobe, he continued to face failure in the playoffs. That year, he and the Lakers, they were swept by the San Antonio Spurs in the Western Conference semifinals. Now, in November of 1999, a 21-year-old Kobe met 17-year-old Vanessa Lane while she was working as a background dancer on the East Side's music video, G'd Up. Now, Kobe had been in the building working on his debut musical album, the one that was later scrapped. That was where he met Vanessa. Now, the two, they began dating, and 6 months later, well, they became engaged. Now, according to Vanessa's cousin, well, there was never a prenup agreement because Kobe, well, he loved her too much to have one. The two, they would marry in 2001, and they would go on to have 4 daughters together over the course of their marriage. Now, in 1999, it wasn't only Kobe's fortunes that were changing. Phil Jackson was also hired as the new head coach, and by implementing the triangle offense and utilizing both Kobe and Shaq in creative and unique ways, well, the Lakers, they officially became a contender, leading to a three-peat of championships. Here we go. Now, in the 1999 to 2000 season, Kobe and Shaq, they led the Lakers to 67 wins during the regular season. Now, in Game 7 of the Western Conference Finals against the Portland Trail Blazers, well, Kobe, he came up clutch with 25 points, 11 rebounds, 7 assists, and 4 blocks. Now, we even threw an alley-oop pass to Shaq in the closing minutes to ice the game and series. Then in the 2000 finals, well, Kobe and the Lakers, they took on Reggie Miller and the Indiana Pacers. Now, Kobe, he injured his ankle in Game 2, and he wasn't able to return to the series until Game 4. Now, it wasn't a moment too soon. After Shaq, he fouled out of the game. Now, Kobe, he put up 22 points in the second half, and he led his team to the overtime victory. Now, he made the winning basket to put the Lakers up 120 to 118. Now, after rattling off 2 more victories in a row, well, Kobe, he had won his first championship. The 2000 to 2001 season saw a dip in the Lakers' regular season win total with 56 games won, but they would go on to rally in the playoffs, blowing through the competition and going 15-1, with their only loss coming from Allen Iverson and the Philadelphia 76ers. That was in Game 1 of the NBA Finals. Now, Kobe, he would average 29.4 points, 7.3 rebounds, and 6.1 assists a game throughout these playoffs. Now, this led Shaq, who's never been known as someone to, share a lot of praise, well, he declared Kobe Bryant as the best player in the league. In the 2001 to 2002 season, Kobe, he won his first All-Star MVP while playing in his hometown of Philly, and despite the close proximity to his family home, well, he was actually loudly booed by fans throughout the game. Now, this stemmed from an incident he had with a fan during the previous year's finals, where, well, he said that the Lakers, they were gonna cut the hearts out of the Philly fan base. So, you know, they probably secretly loved him. That's just it was a bit of a deep jab. Now, the Lakers, they won 58 games that year before entering the playoffs, but their road to the finals, it would be much tougher than the year prior. While they swept the Blazers in the first round and only lost one game to the Spurs in the semifinals, well, they didn't have home court advantage against the Sacramento Kings in the Western Conference Finals. Now, the series, it would stretch to 7 games, but the Lakers, they were able to escape with the victory, making their 3rd consecutive finals appearance. Facing off against the New Jersey Nets, well, Kobe, he would go on to score a quarter of the team's points throughout the series, averaging almost 27 points a game. Now, at 23, Kobe, he'd become one of the youngest players in league history to win 3 championships. His notable performance in the 4th quarter of games, especially in the last 2 rounds of these playoffs, would cement his reputation as a clutch player. Now, during the 2002 to 2003 season, well, Kobe, he would embark on a historic scoring run, posting 40 or more points in 9 consecutive games. But after finishing 50 to 32, the Lakers stumbled in the playoffs and they lost in the Western Conference semifinals. That was in 6 games to the eventual NBA champions. I'm talking about the San Antonio Spurs. Now, the next season, the Lakers, they were able to acquire NBA All-Stars Karl Malone and Gary Payton, and this was to make another push for a championship win. But that year, Kobe, he was arrested for sexual assault before the season began. He would go on to miss games due to ongoing court appearances. Now, Bryant admitted to having an adulterous relationship with a 19-year-old, but he denied her sexual assault allegations. Regardless, the accusations, they tarnished Kobe's otherwise sterling reputation, and the public's perception of him, well, it plummeted. However, a little over a year later, the assault case, it was dropped by prosecutors after Bryant's accuser, well, she decided not to testify at the trial. Now, afterwards, Kobe, he apologized to her for the incident, and he sent out the following statement. Although I truly believe this encounter between us was consensual, I recognize now that she did not and does not view this incident the same way I did. After months of reviewing discovery, listening to her attorney, and even her testimony in person, I now understand how she feels that she did not consent to this encounter. A separate civil lawsuit was filed and then settled out of court. Now, despite everything going on in his personal life, well, Kobe and the Lakers, they still made the finals that year, but they were upset in 5 games against the Detroit Pistons. After that loss, it was the end of an era. Now, Phil Jackson, his contract was not renewed, and Shaq, he was traded to the Miami Heat for Lamar Odom, Caron Butler, and Brian Grant. Now, for his part, Kobe, he considered leaving the Lakers for different pastures, but ultimately he decided to return to the only home he would ever know in the NBA. He re-signed on a 7-year contract. But now Kobe, he was being scrutinized more than ever. Now, the coach that replaced Phil Jackson, he quit halfway through the following season, and the Lakers went 34 to 48. Missing the playoffs for the first time in over a decade. Now, the next year, Phil Jackson, he returned, and he and Kobe got the Lakers back into the playoffs. Now, Kobe, he would also enjoy the finest statistical season of his career. On December 20th, 2005, he scored 62 points in 3 quarters against the Dallas Mavericks. Entering the 4th quarter, well, Kobe, he outscored the entire Mavs team 62 to 61. The only time a player, well, has actually ever done this. Then on January 22nd, 2006, well, Kobe, he scored a career high 81 points in a 122 to 104 victory. This was against the Toronto Raptors. This was the 2nd highest point total in NBA history, behind only Wilt Chamberlain's 100-point game in 1962. Now, the Lakers, they trailed by 14 at halftime, and they needed every single one of Kobe's baskets to help win that game. Later that season, well, Kobe, he announced that he would be changing his jersey number from 8 to 24. Now, his first high school number had been 24 before he switched it to 33. Now, as a rookie, 24 was unavailable to Kobe, and 33, it had been retired by Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. At the Adidas ABCD camp, well, Kobe, he wore the number 143, and he ended up choosing the number 8 by adding those numbers together. That's like a little, where are you gonna find facts like this anywhere else? Now that postseason, despite taking a 3-1 series lead over the Phoenix Suns, well, the Lakers, they would go on to lose the series, breaking down in spectacular fashion. Now Kobe, he took the brunt of criticism for his performance in Game 7 after taking only 3 shots in the second half of a 121-90 loss. By 2007, Kobe, he was more or less done with losing. On May 27th, he told ESPN that he wanted to be traded if Jerry West did not return to the Lakers with full authority. Now, after talking further with both West and Jackson, well, Kobe, he eventually rolled that demand back. Now, assisted by a trade for All-Star Pau Gasol, well, Kobe, he led the Lakers to a 57-25 record, and he swept the Denver Nuggets out of the first round of the playoffs. They then defeated the Utah Jazz in the semifinals before taking on the Spurs once more in the Western Conference Finals. Now the Lakers, they defeated the Spurs in 5 games, and they went on to face the Boston Celtics in the NBA Finals. Now Kobe and the Lakers, they lost to the Celtics in 6 games, and the next season, well, the Lakers, they went 65-17. Now they defeated the Jazz once more in round 1 in 5 games. The Houston Rockets, they took them in 7 to the semifinals, and the Lakers, they finished off Denver in 6 games in the Western Conference Finals. Now the finals that year was a face-off between Kobe and the Lakers against Dwight Howard and the Orlando Magic. Now Kobe, he finished them off in 5, and he took home his first NBA Finals MVP trophy. During the 2009 to 2010 season, well, Kobe, he would surpass Jerry West to become the all-time leading scorer in Laker franchise history. Now on April 2nd, 2010, he would sign a 3-year contract extension worth $87 million. Now in the playoffs, the Lakers, they would defeat OKC in 6 games, sweep the Utah Jazz in the second round, and defeat the Phoenix Suns in the Western Conference Finals. Now in a rematch of the 2008 Finals, well, LA, they once again took Boston, but this time with a different result. The series went 7, but Kobe and LA, well, they pulled it out in the end, winning his 5th and final championship, one that was, according to him, the most satisfying of all. And while Kobe badly wanted a 6th championship to match Michael Jordan's total, well, sadly, it was never to come to pass. In 2011, Kobe and the Lakers, they were swept by the eventual NBA champions, the Dallas Mavericks, in the second round. Then the following year, well, they were out in 5, this time against the Oklahoma City Thunder. Now the 2012 to 2013 season was supposed to be Kobe's last shot at a 6th title. Now that year, the Lakers, they reloaded their roster with Dwight Howard and Steve Nash. And Sports Illustrated covers, well, they came and went. But the super team, it never lived up to its potential. Now Nash and Kobe, they went through injury-plagued seasons, and the Lakers, they were fighting tooth and nail just to make the 7th seed in the West. Now Kobe, he was playing almost 48 minutes a game. On April 10th, 2013, well, Kobe, he became the first player in NBA history to get 47 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists, 4 blocks, and 3 steals in one NBA game. 2 days later, in a game against the Golden State Warriors, well, Kobe, he tore his Achilles. And well, that right there, it ended his season. Playing without Kobe, the Lakers, they were swept out of the playoffs in 4 games by the San Antonio Spurs in round 1. Now Kobe, he returned to practice in November of 2013, and on the 25th of that year, well, he signed a $48.5 million contract extension for 2 years. Now this extension, it made him the league's highest paid player, despite the fact that he accepted a discounted deal, having been eligible for as much as $64 million. Now Kobe, he resumed playing on December 17th, but he would only play in a handful of games before suffering another injury. Now this time, it was to his left knee. From there, he was held out the rest of the season as a precautionary measure, and the Lakers, well, they again missed the playoffs. On December 14, 2014, well, Kobe, he became the NBA's 3rd all-time leading scorer, passing Michael Jordan with 32,292 points. Another season-ending injury was right around the corner, though. On January 21st, 2015, he tore his rotor cuff in his right shoulder while going up for a 2-handed slam. Now, Kobe's final season was in 2015 to 2016, and it was his 20th season with the team. Now, he surpassed John Stockton's league record of 19 years with the Utah Jazz. By November 29th, Kobe announced via the Players Tribune that he would be retiring at the end of the season. He announced his retirement through a poem entitled Dear Basketball. In a press room conference after the announcement, Kobe had this to say about his decision to retire at what was widely considered the lowest point of his career. Even though I play like shit, I've worked really hard not to play like crap, and I do everything I possibly can. and I feel good about that. Kobe was the leading All-Star vote getter for the 2016 All-Star Game in Toronto with 1.9 million votes, and in the Lakers season finale on April 13th, well, Kobe, he scored an NBA season high 60 points against the Utah Jazz in his final NBA game. He outscored the entire Jazz team himself 23-21 in the fourth quarter. Now, in the Lakers' 101-96 victory, he became the oldest player to score 60 or more points in a game at 37 years and 234 days old. Yeah, we hitting you with all the facts. Here's another quote. I would go 0 for 30 before I would go 0 for 9. 0 for 9 means you beat yourself. Now, most people, they tend to sit back and enjoy their retirement. If it wasn't already clear by this point, well, Kobe Bryant, he ain't most people. Now, instead, he put down the ball and he picked up a pen. Now, Kobe's second act was one of writing books, both for his fans of his game and children of all ages. He also created short films and won prestigious awards. I mean, the man retired from basketball in 2016, and within 2 years, he had already won an Academy Award. I mean, do you know how hard that is to do? I mean, just ask Leo or ask Marty. Damn, that's a very big deal. It actually took these men their whole damn lives. And Kobe did it in no time. Rookie of the year. But Kobe Bryant, he earned every bit of love and respect that he ever received. I mean, the man, he lit it up with blood, sweat, and tears on the court every night, regardless of his opponent or stakes. Now, if there was a game to be won, well, you could be damn sure that Kobe was gonna fight tooth and nail to win it. It's this sad reminder that makes the reality of having lost him, well, just all the more difficult. On January 26, 2020, Kobe Bryant, his daughter Gianna, and 7 others, well, they boarded a helicopter and they departed for a basketball game at Bryant Mama's Academy out in Thousand Oaks, California. Now, due to light rain and fog that morning, well, most air traffic had already been grounded. At 9:30, the pilot was contacted by the Burbank Airport Control Tower and told that they were flying too low to be tracked on radar. At 9:40, the chopper began to climb rapidly from 1,200 feet to 2,000 feet, flying at approximately 185 miles per hour. At 9:45, the helicopter crashed into the side of a mountain in Calabasas. Now, Kobe, his daughter Gianna, and everyone else aboard, well, they were instantly killed. Now, witness reports testified to seeing the helicopter in some form of distress, but ultimately the cause of the crash is still unknown. Now, the helicopter, it was not equipped with a black box, and on January 28th, well, Kobe's body, it was officially confirmed by using his fingerprints. Now, Kobe and Gianna's bodies, they were released to their family a few days later, and that brings us to where we are today. Lost and confused, grieving the senseless death of not only a man that gave us so much of himself, but 8 other innocent lives that wanted nothing more to do than to spend time with their loved ones, taking part in a game that meant so much to them. I think I speak for everyone when I say this was not the way I was hoping 2020 would kick off. Very, very, very tragic news. News felt the world over. So unexpected. The man's so young. His daughter. It's just, there's so many ways that this is unbelievably tragic. We took our time putting this video together. I was away. I know this was one that was very much requested from you guys, and we're just really saddened by this news. Definitely not the first video I want to make coming back from a holiday. Anyways, leave your condolences down below. I'll be looking through those. That's it for now. I'll see you guys in another video.